stop hoping, start becoming. Let me be clear. Hope is a beautiful spark, but it was never meant to be your strategy. Hope is the seed. Becoming is the tree. We live in a world where people sit on the sidelines, staring at the sky, praying for something to change. They post quotes, they watch videos, they imagine a different life, but they never move. And in their silence, inaction becomes a habit, waiting becomes a lifestyle, and soon, hope, that pure, fragile flame, becomes the very excuse that keeps them from rising. The truth? The life you want isn't waiting for you. It's waiting to be built, brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. You don't attract success by wishing for it. You become it. You build the mindset. You craft the identity. You mold the habits, the focus, the resilience required to live at that level. It's not magic. It's alignment. It's commitment. It's the unshakable decision to become someone worth following, worth remembering, worth becoming. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't get what you want. You get who you are. So who are you becoming? Every morning, the mirror isn't asking if you're pretty. It's asking, are you proud? Proud of your effort, your mindset, your direction? Are you shaping your days with intention or drifting through them on autopilot, fueled by caffeine and distraction? The world doesn't reward your intentions. It rewards execution. So if you've been hoping life will give you a break, I have news for you. Life doesn't hand out breaks. It hands out tests. And every test asks you the same question. Are you serious or are you just interested? Because if you're serious, you stop waiting, you stop talking, you stop hoping, and you start becoming. Becoming requires vision, not a list of goals, not a dream board. A clear, felt, vivid picture of who you want to be. The way you talk, walk, think, show up, the way you respond to stress, the way you lead, love, work, live. This is not fantasy. This is architecture, mental blueprints for the future you're sculpting. Edison didn't hope for the light bulb. He became the man obsessed with solving the dark. Lincoln didn't wish for a united country. He became the man willing to carry the weight of a broken nation. They didn't make wishes. They made commitments. What are you committed to? Not interested in. Not inspired by. Committed to. Because commitment doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't need motivation. It doesn't need perfect conditions. It just needs one thing, your word. And your word must become law in your world. You said you'd wake up early? Then rise. You said you'd stop scrolling? Then stop. You said you'd start that business? Then start. Not when it's convenient. Not when it's easy. Now, because if your word means nothing to you, you will live a life of quiet betrayal. Hope says, someday. Becoming says, today. This is where mindset shifts from dreamer to doer, from consumer to creator, from spectator to architect. It begins by refusing to negotiate with weakness, refusing to let your old identity anchor your potential. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures or your doubts or your fears. You are the author. And if the last chapter broke your heart, then turn the page, because the pen is still in your hand. But becoming doesn't happen in your mind. It happens in motion. Action is the proof of belief, and discipline is the fuel of transformation. You must move, even when you're tired, even when you're uninspired, even when it doesn't feel like it's working. That's what becoming looks like. It's not always loud. It's often silent, invisible, thankless. But every rep matters. Every choice echoes. You think no one's watching? The future is. The version of you 5 years from now is begging you to keep going, to stop lying to yourself, to stop living beneath your potential, to stop waiting for life to choose you and start choosing yourself, because no one's coming. And that's the best news of all. No one's coming to save you, which means you're free to rise. And when you stop waiting for permission, you start building power. The kind of power that cannot be taken because it wasn't given. It was earned, forged, in your darkest hours, in your quiet mornings, in your relentless refusal to quit. Because when you choose to become fully, unapologetically, completely, You don't chase opportunities. You create them. And that's when the world begins to notice. Not when you hope, not when you wish, when you become. So you rise before the sun, not because you have to, but because it's who you are now. You read not to escape, but to arm your mind. You exercise not for vanity, but to train your discipline. You don't avoid hard conversations. You embrace them. You speak truth. You lead with courage. You show up with presence, even when no one's clapping. Because greatness is born in obscurity, in the hours no one sees, in the habits no one praises. This is where empires begin, not in noise, but in resolve. And when the world tries to hand you excuses, you hand them back and say, I don't live there anymore. You live in truth, in movement, in full ownership. Becoming means you no longer wait to feel ready. You act, and readiness catches up. You no longer seek external validation. You validate your own effort. You no longer complain about the mountain. You climb. You climb with scraped knees. You climb with burning lungs. You climb with doubt in your ears and fire in your soul. Because becoming isn't about the spotlight, it's about the climb, the sweat, the tears, the refusal to stop. So no, you don't hope to be great. You decide to be. And every day from that moment forward becomes a declaration. A quiet, consistent, relentless declaration that says, I am becoming. And when the pain comes, not if, but when, you face it. You look it in the eye. Because pain isn't your enemy, it's your instructor. It teaches you what comfort never will. When you fall, and you will, you don't curse the ground. You study the fall. You rise with more data, more wisdom, more strength. Becoming is not about never breaking. It's about becoming unbreakable. Like steel forged in flame, your soul becomes stronger not in safety, but in the fire. Resilience isn't given. It's earned in storms. Carnegie faced criticism. Ford faced bankruptcy. Disney was told he lacked imagination. Every name we celebrate today was once dismissed, doubted, laughed at. But they didn't hope to succeed. They became the kind of people who could not be ignored. And you are no different. Your past does not define you. Your wounds are not your worth. Your setbacks are not your sentence. They are part of your making, part of your legend. So wear your scars like medals. Let the world see the miles you've walked, the battles you've fought, and the strength you've built. Because becoming isn't about being flawless. It's about being fearless. Fearless enough to try again, to dream bigger, to stretch further, to believe when it's irrational, to persist when it's unreasonable. This is what separates the few who rise from the many who settle. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not privilege. It's the choice to become, again and again, no matter how many times you fall. So the next time life knocks on your door and asks who you are, don't say your job title. Don't say your status. Don't say your past. Say this: I am becoming, and I'm just getting started.